Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching today's video. So I've been testing out a bunch of new makeup products and I wanted to do a roundup and let you guys know which ones are the best, which ones are the worst. One of my goals for 2021 was just to review more new makeup releases and to share my thoughts on them because I don't always get the chance to do full reviews. I'll kind of incorporate them into random videos, but in these videos, my goal is just to share my thoughts on a bunch of products. That way, if you are trying to decide whether or not to grab something, I can share the pros and the cons and let you guys know if I think it would work well for you. I will link everything in the description box below, but I'll also list the price information, the shades, and then in the actual video, I'll do close-ups, swatches, so hopefully I can cover everything that you need to know about these products. So let's start with the new ColourPop Lizzie McGuire collection. I was honestly so excited about this collection because I am a diehard Lizzie McGuire fan. It was my favorite show growing up, and when it came to Disney Plus, I rewatched the entire series. I just love it so much. So I actually had a feeling ColourPop was going to be doing a Lizzie McGuire collab because I think it was around 2 years ago, or like whenever they were talking about doing the Lizzie McGuire reboot, they tweeted out a picture of Hilary Duff wearing ColourPop products, and that's when I had a feeling it was coming. So I am excited that they did do it. I don't know that it's necessarily associated with Hilary Duff, but again, she's not associated with the reboot anymore because unfortunately they canceled it. But I love the fact that we did get a ColourPop Lizzie McGuire collection. All of their previous like nostalgic collabs haven't really appealed to me because I either didn't watch the show or I wasn't into the products, but I loved Lizzie McGuire. So I just think it's a really fun collection and overall they did just a fun job with it. But let's start with the eyeshadow palette. This is the What Dreams Are Made Of eyeshadow palette. I am wearing this on my eyes today. So I think that this palette does perform really well. If you know ColourPop's formula, you won't be surprised by it. The matte shadows are very blendable. They're pretty intense. There are some lighter pastel tones in here, but there are also a couple of brighter shades that you can build up to be pretty intense. I think the colors in here are a lot of fun. They represent the colors in the show well. I don't think Lizzie and Miranda and the other characters in the show wore a ton of eyeshadow, but I do think it's kind of a fun throwback to like the early 2000s, and I am enjoying this a lot, especially if I want a more colorful look. They also released 2 different pressed powder blushes. Now, I've never really been the biggest fan of ColourPop's pressed powder blush formula. I definitely prefer their Super Shock blushes overall. They look a little bit more natural on my skin. I like a nice glowy blush, and their pressed powder blushes tend to be very matte. So these do have a matte base, but they're actually infused with glitter and not like subtle shimmer like true glitter. I don't typically like glittery blushes, but I do feel like they kind of fit into the collection. I love the pressed like flower design that's actually printed into the blush, but if you have pink blush in your collection that you're happy with, I think you could skip over them. They did do some of these So Juicy plumping lip gloss duos. Now you can purchase these separately as well, but I think the duos are kind of fun because they did Lizzie and Miranda, and then they also did Ethan Kraft and Gordo. And these actually look so pretty on the lips. The So Juicy formula is very, very shiny. If you want like that wet looking lip gloss formula, I definitely recommend checking out the So Juicy glosses. They have a little bit of like a sticky or tacky feel to them, so that is something important to note, but they do last on the lips pretty well. I would say out of all of ColourPop's lip gloss formulas, it's not my personal favorite just because I do like more of a smooth feel rather than a slightly sticky feel, but these do also have glitter in them, and it's pretty obvious. So again, if you don't like glitter in your lip products, I would skip over them. I think that these are more so just like cute and fun to have. They could be a cute gift for someone who also liked Lizzie McGuire. I think the glitter totally fits into like that throwback 2000s makeup, but I think if you're trying to decide whether or not you would use the products practically today in 2021, if you're not into glitter in your products, your lip products, your blushes, your eye products, I would skip over this collection as a whole because pretty much everything has glitter mixed in. I would say that my favorite product out of the entire collection is the eyeshadow palette. I do love colorful eyeshadow, and I think they did a really good job with this one. You can definitely get quite a few looks just using this one palette, so this is my #1 product out of the whole collection. Okay, let's talk about some complexion products. So I want to start with the new KVD Beauty Good Apple Skin Perfecting Foundation Balm. I know that this is all over TikTok, but I feel like the TikTok reviews and the YouTube reviews are very, very different. This is an intense full coverage foundation. It's probably the most full coverage foundation I've ever tried, and I think it's kind of interesting that it is so hyped up because I feel like people have been over full coverage foundation for a long time. I've always been someone who's preferred more of a medium to full coverage foundation, foundation, and I feel like the trend was kind of moving in the opposite direction, more like skin tints and like coverage products. So I was surprised to see this product getting so much hype. I guess let's start with the pros. So first of all, this does come in fully recyclable packaging, which is amazing. There is no metal tin, no metal hinges. So once you are done with the product, you can recycle the compact, which I love. I love that KVD Beauty seems to be very aware of sustainability, and I wish more brands would take that into consideration. So that is a pro. The second pro is the fact that this does have such intense coverage if that's what you're looking for. It is more of a moisturizing product. A lot of really full coverage products are very, very matte. So if you have dry skin or you like more of a moisturizing full coverage product, you might enjoy this one. So I would say that it has more cons than pros. This definitely creases on me pretty quickly. I did wear this in an Instagram picture and I had it on for like 3 or 4 hours before I took the photo. And I was even talking like on my Instagram stories so you could see what my skin looked like. And it looked pretty good on my skin for those initial 3 or 4 hours, maybe even 5 hours. But I do notice that the longer I have this on, the more it settles into my skin. It enhances texture and fine lines, and it just doesn't wear very well throughout the day on my oily skin, whether I'm using it with a moisturizing primer or a mattifying primer. I have found a way to make this work for me. The way that I used it today is actually the way that I've really been enjoying it, and that is just to spot conceal before I go in with foundation. That's kind of like a method that I used to do years ago. I have a like foundation routine on my channel from years and years ago where I would spot conceal and then go in with foundation when I was just dealing with a ton of breakouts. And I actually really like this product for that purpose because the coverage is so good, and because it is more of a hydrating formula, it just glides over any breakouts really nicely. It doesn't cling to that texture initially. So I'll just take a little bit on my finger, spot conceal, and then apply my foundation. And when I do that, I actually have to use so much less foundation because this product is so full coverage. But as far as like an actual foundation, it looks really good if I'm taking a picture or I'm filming a YouTube video. It's just not something that I would wear if I wanted my foundation to look good all day long, because after 4 to 5 hours, I really notice that it starts to settle and my skin looks pretty oily and pretty cakey. There is another base product I wanted to talk about in today's video. This is the Urban Decay Stay Naked Hydromaniac Tinted Glow Hydrator. Even though I do have oily skin, I still like really hydrating base products. They tend to look really healthy and glowy, and some of them do last better on oily skin than others. I wish this product worked for me because it looks so good and it feels so good on the skin. So I think if you have dry skin or normal skin, you are going to love this, but unfortunately it just doesn't last on my skin. This feels like a really nice luxurious moisturizer when you apply it, and it has pretty good coverage. I would say that it is more of a medium coverage product, but it does really blur my skin. It evens everything out and it just looks so good for day-to-day wear. I almost like this better than a tinted moisturizer because I feel like a lot of tinted moisturizers are very thin, very liquidy. This one feels a little bit thicker, but in a good way. It feels like you're applying a nice, rich moisturizer. I set mine into place with powder, and I would say after like 5 hours, my skin was so oily, even more oily than it was with the KVD Beauty Good Apple Foundation. And I wasn't even doing anything crazy. I think I was editing a YouTube video, but I looked in the mirror and my makeup was just like melting off of my face. I love the way that this product feels and applies and looks initially. It just doesn't last on me. So if you have dry skin or normal skin and you're looking for something that's a little bit more medium coverage, really hydrating, blends out well, looks amazing, I think you'll really enjoy this. It doesn't work for my oily skin. I hate having oily skin sometimes. I wanted to update you guys on some products from Jaclyn Cosmetics. So let's start with the Accent Light Highlighter. This retails for $29. There are 8 different shades and I have the shade Iced. Now this doesn't have a ton of claims on Ulta's website, but I would say that it is definitely more of an intense highlight. If you want like a true beaming highlight, then I think this is probably going to be the formula for you rather than, someone who prefers a very subtle highlight, because this is pretty intense on the cheeks. It's very pigmented. It's very easy to apply. I think that this is a fair price point for what you get. The actual quality definitely feels nice. The shade Iced is definitely like a very light icy color, just like it's described. I think when I was purchasing this, they were sold out of quite a few shades, so I just picked one of the available shades, but I would like to try more of a peachy gold. It looks really pretty on the skin, and when I do want that beaming highlight, this really is a nice option. I think it looks very smooth, very even, so I am really impressed by the formula. The packaging is pretty bulky, so if you don't like bulky packaging, keep that in mind, but it does feel very luxurious, very nice. Now, I also picked up one of the bronze and blushing duos. This retails for $36, but you do get 2 products. I do have more thoughts on this one, pros and cons. So first of all, this comes in 7 different duos. It comes with a soft matte bronzer and a satin blush, and it's supposed to give your skin a soft, focused, blurred finish. So I actually have the duo Pink Me Up and then also Oh Honey, which is meant for fair to light skin tones. I would say that the formula is fine. It's very blendable, very smooth. It does look good on the skin, which was kind of like Jaclyn's big claim behind this product, is that it looks like a second skin. And I would say that I would probably compare it to maybe like an Hourglass formula in that it's very soft, very natural, very blendable. The powder itself is really lightweight. This is a pretty powdery formula, and I think that's enhanced by the fact that I have to go into the product multiple times to get it to really show up well on my skin tone. So I think ideally I probably should have chosen a darker duo, but based on the description, I thought this was going to work well for my fair to light skin tone. My skin is like the lightest that it's ever been because I have been inside the majority of the past year, and even some of my like lightest foundations and bronzers don't look good on me anymore because they're just a little bit too dark. So I was surprised by how light this product actually appeared on the skin. So I would say you might want to go like a shade, or you might want to go with a duo that's a little bit darker than what you would normally wear, because I think overall it appears a lot lighter on the skin than it looks in the pan. Again, this packaging is very bulky. It's pretty heavy, so it does feel luxurious, but it does take up a lot of space in my makeup collection. It doesn't really even fit in the container where I typically store my blushes and bronzers. It always gets caught when I'm pushing the drawer back in. So I wish the packaging was just a little bit smaller. I feel like it kind of makes sense for her brand, and obviously that's something you know going into it, but I personally just prefer more like sleek, slim packaging. I don't think I will be buying a darker duo. The formula is good, but I feel like I have formulas in my blush and bronzer collections that I love and I reach for all the time. So I don't feel like this is an absolute necessity for me. I definitely prefer the highlighter formula over the blush and bronzer duo. And I just feel like $36 for something that is good, but not necessarily great is too much for me. I wanted to update you guys on the Anastasia Beverly Hills Iced Out Highlighter. So I did use this on camera for the first time. I was filming a video where I was testing out new makeup and I was applying it and I just felt like I could not get it to show up on my skin. So I have tried it with a few different brushes, but what I've come to conclude is that it's a little bit more of a subtle highlighter, and that is totally fine. I'm actually someone who does like really subtle highlighters, but I think in my mind I was really comparing this to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy highlighter, which is a little bit more intense. I'm going to swatch this product for you, but when you swatch it, it's obviously a little bit more intense on the hand. You're using it with your finger, you have more of a targeted application, and when I apply highlighter, I usually use either like a fluffy brush, sometimes more of a dense tapered brush, but no matter what type of brush I use, I don't get the same appearance on my face as I do when I swatch it on my hand. It's just a little bit more subtle, and that is perfectly fine. I think the color is different than I thought it was going to be. Looking at this online, I totally thought it was going to be like an icy pearl, but it definitely has more of like a yellow gold undertone. It's different than I thought it was going to be. I do wish the actual texture was similar to Amrezy, because I feel like this pattern texture makes it a little bit harder to pick up on a brush, and that's why I'm not getting the same effect that I thought I would. So if this was more of a smooth texture, I feel like it would apply better, but I do still enjoy it. I think I just had to adjust my expectations. So I did get a few products in the mail from the brand About Face, which is Halsey's makeup brand, and I was actually really surprised to get these. I don't know, I didn't get like an email from them, so I think they might have come through a PR firm that has sent me product in the past. But either way, when I opened up the package, I was really curious to try some of them out. I haven't actually watched a ton of reviews on this brand, so I don't know whether people are loving the products or not, but I just thought I would share my thoughts on 3 of the products that I've tested out pretty thoroughly. So I do have 2 different eye products to share with you. I have the matte fluid eye paints and then also the shadow sticks. Let's start with the shadow sticks. These retail for $21. They have 8 different shades. I just have 2 to share with you guys, which I'll swatch in a second, but I've kind of been all about shadow sticks lately. So as for the pros, these products stay in place so well. I actually don't even have to go in with an eyeshadow primer, and typically when I'm wearing an eyeshadow stick, I still have to use an eyeshadow primer to keep it from creasing, and that's not the case with these. These stay in place face all day long without creasing. So they definitely have longevity going for them. They also work well as bases because they kind of work as a primer and like a colored base all in one. Now these do claim to be super pigmented, but I actually find them to be pretty sheer. I think that you have to build them up quite a bit to get intense pigmentation, and then when you do that, they almost look like a little bit heavy on the eyes. They have a slight sticky texture to them, which I think is one of the reasons why they do make a really good base, but because of that, I can almost feel them on my eyelid all day long. There are just so many different shadow sticks out there, and there are $3 options that I like, so for me, $21 is just a little bit too much. If you have trouble with shadow sticks staying in place and they crease on you, then I think you would like this formula for that purpose, but for me, I feel like I would rather just reach for like the e.l.f. shadow sticks over these. I could get 7 e.l.f. shadow sticks for the price of one of these. Now, I'll just tell you right now, I love the fluid eye paints, and I did not expect to like these. I actually expected to like the shadow sticks better than this product, but this product is so good. Now, these retail for $24. I do have 2 shades to share with you guys. So these are both matte. I think all of the ones they have on the website right now are matte, so I don't know if eventually they'll be coming out with metallics or shimmers, but I feel like a lot of liquid eyeshadows are actually shimmery, and I love shimmery eyeshadows, so it was kind of surprising to find that I actually loved this matte formula. This product is just good. It is a super pigmented, smooth formula. It's just nice to apply. It blends out so easily with the actual applicator, but then you can go in with your finger and smooth it out. You can take like a fluffy brush and kind of blend out the crease, and it really is like a true one and done eyeshadow. If you like matte eyeshadow and you don't like powder eyeshadow, you tend to prefer creams, I could see this becoming an absolute staple in your collection. The last about face product that I have to talk about in today's video is this one. This one is their Light Lock Powder. So I have the shade Smother. It actually comes in 4 different shades. I am wearing this on my cheeks today as a highlight, and it's so beautiful. I've told you guys a few times that I've kind of been wanting to get back into like pink toned highlighters. So when I opened this up, I could not wait to apply it. I actually didn't have any makeup on, and I still came in here and applied it to my cheeks, and I just love it. The formula is very lightweight and smooth. It looks so good on the skin, but it definitely gives your cheeks like a really gorgeous glow. Now, I don't know exactly what the other shades would look like on my skin because I've only seen them online, but if they have like a warm peachy gold, I think I might pick it up just because I'm so impressed by the quality. I deal with a lot of texture on my cheeks, so like one of my #1 requirements when it comes to highlighter is that it just doesn't enhance that texture. But because this product is so lightweight and smooth, I think it just looks good. I'm also using it in the inner corner today. I think it looks really pretty, kind of like tapped over eyeshadow. I just have a few more products to talk about in today's video. So this is the Too Faced Plump to the Max Lip Plumper and Plumping Face Primer Duo. This is available at Ulta. I know that you can purchase these products separately, but I decided to pick up this little set because I've been wanting to try the Too Faced Lip Injection again for a while. I have tried this product in the past, I think just like their regular version, and it stung my lips so badly. I think when I initially applied it, like that stinging sensation did not wear off for like a full 45 minutes. And I left it on because I wanted to see if it worked well. And I do feel like as far as lip plumpers go, the Too Faced lip plumpers work the best out of anything that I've tried. But there's definitely pain associated with the products. And I don't know if I had like a little bit of an allergic reaction to it, but it wasn't just my lips that got more full. It was like the area around my lips. There was like this red ring around my lips. They actually looked swollen and painful. It kind of looked like I got stung by a bee. So I definitely think this product works. Will I use it again? Probably not, because it hurts so bad. And again, I kind of wonder if I had like a little bit of an allergic reaction to it because the skin around my lips was so red where I didn't even apply the product. The other product that I was a little bit more curious about was actually the Plump and Prime Luxury Face Plumping Primer Serum. Now, this is a mini, but I actually like the idea of mini primers because it takes me a long time to go through a full-size primer. So I thought this was a really good value, and because I was curious about the lip product as well. This primer has quite the claims. Let me just share them with you. So it says that your jawline feels more lifted in 3 days and your cheeks are plumper and bouncier over time. It's also supposed to diminish the appearance of lines and wrinkles. I feel like the jawline claim is weird because I don't know about you guys, I don't apply face primer on my jawline. I typically focus the majority of my primer in like my T-zone, wherever I'm dealing with large pores or where I get the most oily. I typically rely on my skincare to kind of cover like my jawline, my neck, and my chest. So I don't really notice any difference in my jawline. I think like, you know, a makeup primer isn't really going to like lift and firm my jawline. But I will say that it does make my skin look smooth. So the claim that it kind of diminishes the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, I would say is true. Obviously, it's going to be temporary. It's just going to be when you apply the product. But when I apply makeup on top of this primer, it does look really good and even. This primer has like a really soft, silky, lightweight texture. It kind of feels a little bit like the Smashbox Primerizer mixed with a slightly smoothing primer. So I love the way that it feels on my skin. I think my foundation goes on top really nicely, and I do enjoy this. I think out of the two products, this one was the winner. The actual lip plumper was a fail for me just because it was so painful, but I think that these products are nice for sure. So if you're curious about them, it might make more sense to grab like the little duo rather than purchasing the full size separately. I did want to share my thoughts on the KKW Beauty Classic II Eyeshadow Palette. So this is not a brand new release, but it is new to Ulta. So I did pick it up. I had a gift card, and honestly, this was like a complete impulse purchase for me. I've been wanting to try another KKW Beauty eyeshadow palette for a while, ever since I tried the Classic Blossom palette, and I thought that this color story was so pretty. This is a neutral eyeshadow palette, but there's something about the colors in here that makes it a little bit different than other neutral palettes that I've seen from other brands and KKW. KKW Beauty eyeshadow palettes are all pretty neutral for the most part, but I think the colors in here are perfect if you don't want overly saturated neutrals. They're almost a little bit more toned down. You get a nice mix between warm and cool tones, but none of them are over the top. And I think that this is perfect if you do like lighter everyday natural looks, or you do something a little bit more intense and smoky, because you could definitely get all of those looks out of this palette. You could also go from like day to night very, very easily. This is just like an easy formula to work with. The matte shadows just blend out really well, and the shimmer shadows are pretty on the eyes. They're not overly intense. They're not like the most bright, fun metallics that I've ever tried, but it's an easy palette to work with. I think if you're someone who doesn't go crazy with your eyeshadow and you just want staple, reliable neutrals, then I think you'll really enjoy this one. I think that these neutrals appeal to me more than like an overly warm toned palette or like a super intense cool toned palette, because it does have a mix of both. Okay, that is the end of my video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys have tried any of these products. I would love to hear your thoughts. I know that products work differently for everyone depending on preferences, skin types, so I would love to hear your review because I think it could be helpful for someone just kind of reading through the comments. But thank you guys for watching today's video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you very soon with a new one. Bye.